Be strong.
Hey guys, welcome to Hope with Jonathan. I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. And tonight we have an excellent show for you. We have a very, very special co-host, Mr. Philip Harris Jones Jr. from A Second Chance. Go like, follow, subscribe over on their YouTube channel and check them out. They're pretty much doing the same thing that I'm doing right here with Hope with Jonathan, inspiring and sharing warrior stories, trying to give them some hope. But hey, guys, we have a very special guest as well, Courtney Hertel, and I'm real excited to bring her on, share her kidney warrior story and what it's like living as a kidney warrior, a mom, and a lady that's in need of a donor, and also just recently found out that she's a lung transplant recipient as well. So guys, please stay tuned for this interview. This is going to be an incredible show. Let me go ahead and bring on my special co-host, Mr. Philip Harris Jones Jr. What's up, Phil? How's it going tonight, brother?
What's going on, Jonathan? Everything's well. I appreciate you having me on today. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. And I'm really glad you were able to join us, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like I said, getting back on track and making everything fall back in place. But feeling good. A lot better than I was when I went in. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. I know a lot of us we was praying for you, believing for you, and really pulling for you to pull through. So real excited and happy to see that you're able to join us tonight. And guys, stay tuned. Hope with Jonathan is collaborating with A Second Chance for the month of June. We got an interview coming up this Saturday with Patrick Huber. So check that out, guys, over at A Second Chance YouTube channel. And it's going to be real excited. And Philip also hosts that show on his personal page as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very excited for that show. I appreciate you collaborating with me. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Hey, guys, if you would out there and you're watching this, please smash that share button, interact, drop a comment. Please, if you would, interact in this show. Please share this with your family and friends. We would greatly appreciate it. The warrior that we're going to bring on, she would greatly appreciate it. And I know Philip would greatly appreciate it as well. So if you would, go ahead and smash that share button if you would. And also, over on the YouTube channel, if you're watching by YouTube, go over and subscribe to our channel at Hope with Jonathan. Really appreciate it. But hey, guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Courtney tonight. Let her share her personal story, guys. It's going to be an amazing show, so stay tuned. Hey, Courtney, how's it going?
Hey, not bad. I'm excited to be here. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Thank you.
Doing well. Definitely appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
No problem at all. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Okay, so my name's Courtney Hertel. I'm 39 years old. I live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, but I am from Atlanta, Georgia. And I actually moved to North Carolina about 4.5 years ago for a double lung transplant.
Oh, wow.
Because I was born with cystic fibrosis, and at the age of 35, I had end-stage lung disease. And I had been listed at Emory for about 19 months, and they're a much smaller center, so we needed to look elsewhere because I have a lot of antibodies. Um, at one point, I had 98% antibodies, which basically means about 2 people out of 100 might be a match. So Emory, we had to leave Atlanta and come up here to Duke. And 3 days after we moved here, I went into respiratory failure, and I was taken by ambulance to UNC, University of North Carolina Hospital, since I live like a mile from there, and it's the closest one to my home. I woke up a week later at Duke on a ventilator. I have a trach scar here. And I couldn't eat. I was basically just sitting there waiting for lungs, and I found out that they told my husband they didn't think they would find a match for me because my antibodies were so high. Um, and I was in the hospital about 6 months there, and I got my call and my one and only call for lungs July 3rd. And this July 4th, it'll be 4 years ago that I got my lung transplant. So there's that whole that whole episode. And I started taking Prograf, which is anti-rejection medication. Everyone takes that if they have an organ transplant, and it's very toxic to the kidneys. I actually require a higher dose than like the average transplant recipient due to my cystic fibrosis, because I tend to malabsorb food and my body just kind of works wonky, so to speak. And so I was taking the medication. My creatinine, it was stable and normal. It was around 1.0 to 1.2. And then about a year and a few months after I got my lung transplant, I had mild rejection of my lungs, and they gave me a large steroid taper of like prednisone. And for some reason, the prednisone harmed my kidneys, and my creatinine jumped from like 1.0, 1.2 to 2, and it stayed stable for about another year. And then this past year, like a year ago, I got mucormycosis, which is a invasive fungal infection, and I got it in my sinuses, and they had to use very strong antifungal medication. And that is ultimately what destroyed my kidneys. My creatinine jumped from like 2.2 to 3, 3.5. And then the past year, it's just slowly been, my creatinine just keeps slowly getting higher and higher. And my current GFR is about 10%, meaning I have about 10% kidney function. Fortunately, I'm not on dialysis yet, but if something doesn't happen in the next few months, I'll have to start dialysis. And I really don't want to do that, especially with everything I've been through. And I have 2 teenagers, they're 13 and 14, and I need to be home. I want to be home. With the whole lung transplant and being in the hospital 6 months, that was like enough to never go back. And then last year with the mucormycosis, the fungal infection, I was in the hospital like a whole month. And now because of that, I'm on antifungals for the rest of my life. So that's pretty much me. I'm also diabetic, but that's because of my CF. Yeah.
Yeah. You have an incredible story. So you got the lung transplant, and because you're on the immune suppressants and a high level of Prograf, which you told me backstage you were taking around 7 or 8 milligrams of Prograf.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my throat is scratchy. It's like my allergies.
Oh, it's okay.
I just want to apologize.
Oh, no problem at all.
I don't normally sound this like scratchy. Yeah, I was on 7 and 8 milligram Prograf before the mucormycosis infection a year ago. And due to the antifungal medications, they have to adjust your Prograf levels. So it got dropped by almost half or a little over half. So now I'm on 3 milligrams at 3.5 milligrams, but it's still, I mean, I would consider that high, especially being on an anti.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't know about immune suppressants is they're
and yeah, but 7 and 8, and it was like.
Oh, I'm sorry, there was a slight delay there. I apologize. No, what I wanted to tell everybody out there is what a lot of people don't realize is with the immune suppressants are actually, some of them are very nephrotoxic. Prograf is one of them.
Yeah.
So the ones that they give you to actually protect your organ or your body from attacking the organ, that's why they give you the immune suppressants to shut down the immune system. But the Prograf is actually very nephrotoxic, from what I understand.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't, I mean, prior to my lung transplant, my kidneys were totally fine. And so this happened for me like within 4 years. And
wow.
I was inactively listed for kidney last November. And just like the past 3 weeks, I was moved to active because my GFR keeps dropping and my creatinine keeps rising. And I'm having issues with potassium and phosphorus. I've actually ended up in the ER like 3 times now because of potassium. And
ooh, yeah.
Yeah, like 6.7.
Yeah.
And then you got to go through the whole drill of like an EKG, and they give you a bunch of insulin and dextrose and
I know all about the
calcium.
potassium. I know all about the potassium.
It sucks because I have to so growing up with CF, you're supposed to eat like whatever you want because we don't gain weight. And now it's like, oh, well, I can't have potatoes because of the potassium, or cantaloupe. I love cantaloupe. I can't have that now. Even like dark sodas, they're like, oh, that has phosphorus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to eat?
Yeah. Have you ever consulted with a renal dietitian?
Yeah, I have, and they're the ones who were the bearers of bad news as far as diet goes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it has made me a lot more mindful, like what I'm putting in my body, but I think like another like slap in the face, like, oh, you can't eat this now, even though it's actually healthy for normal people, and you like the way it tastes. Like
Philip, can you enlighten us on how you handle the renal diet?
Yeah, actually I can. I was just going to say something. For me, the only thing that I can say in that situation, I know it's hard to deal with certain foods, especially ones that you may not like to eat. You have to learn how to cook things to your flavor without the amount of salt and sugars and stuff like that. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of messing up, cooking certain things to figure out how to make them the way that you like them that fits your diet, but still gives some taste and stuff like that. So one small example for myself is I learned how to cook basically pasta without sauce.
Oh,
And
wow.
so what I did was I learned to cook whatever I was putting in it. So if I was making macaronis, noodles in it or whatever, I would make that first like you would normally do or whatever. And then as I'm cooking whatever I'm putting in it, so chicken, shrimp, stuff like that, I will cook that to where it leaves kind of like a juice, a sauce on the bottom of it. So all that juice and stuff, first off, even if you don't season it, has flavor regardless. So add it with the seasoning. And what I do is I put my noodles in the skillet and cook it that way. So that way all that juice and seasonings and stuff gets on the noodles. So you just got to find ways to be able to make things to your liking. There's a lot of things out there that I hate to eat, but I just had to learn how to cook them in a way that I can at least tolerate to eat to help myself, right? The one question I did have for you was, what's your PTH level?
I honestly don't know.
So you might want to find out what that level is, because that is affected by your phosphorus and potassium, calcium as well. And so what I've learned...
Is that a thyroid level?
Yes.
Okay. So I actually just got that back like a week ago when I had my last labs done. And if it's the one I'm thinking of, it was like 700.
Okay, that's actually not bad.
Okay.
When I had my issue, mine was like almost 3,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Wow.
but what I learned, and I learned probably a little too late because it would have probably helped me years ago, was that when you have the removal of your parathyroid, which is in your neck, and what they do is they remove them out of your neck, and they usually place, half of one or a whole one or whatever in a certain position in your body, is that it actually helps your potassium and your phosphorus.
Yeah.
So, and the thing was, like I said, I wish I would have known this before when they first brought it up to me. I would have done the procedure then. So I actually found out on accident. I remember when I was in the hospital, I had the procedure. I had finally gave in. I've been fighting it for like 3 years, and I remember in the hospital when I was doing my recovery, and I noticed taking my meds that my phosphorus pills weren't there anymore.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, we missing some meds here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, my phosphorus pills. He said, oh, yeah, you don't need to take those anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, those get taken care of when you have this surgery. They get taken care of. Now, there are some things, you still have to do diet-wise and stuff like that to make sure that it stays there. But I haven't had an issue with my potassium since. And I had this procedure in September of 2019. I've had a couple of my phosphorus because that's not as easy to keep down as potassium, especially when you're on dialysis. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I would say check and see if that may be an option if your doctor does or do not recommend doing it, because some might not recommend it because your number may not be as high as they need to see it for that procedure to happen. So, but I would say consult with them and see if that's a possibility to help you with those two numbers to keep them at a good level.
Well, thanks for that insight, Phil. We really appreciate it. I know the PTH, that was the one thing that they never could correct when I was on dialysis. They had everything else right, but every time they ran my labs, that PTH was always jacked up no matter what they did. They would adjust this, that, and the other. But, of course, as soon as I got a transplant, everything's corrected now. So, it was all kidney related, of course. Because your kidneys, believe it or not, people just have no idea. how much it affects, just everything
Oh
across the
yeah.
board.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
people just don't know, what all the kidneys, control, with your blood pressure, your muscles, the way that your brain functions. I mean, you end up
Mhm.
with such a brain fog sometimes from the kidney disease, and just all of
Yeah.
the different things. It affects your mood, just all kind of different things that it affects. So it's an amazing organ if it's working right, but boy, if it's not, it can cause a lot of havoc. And
Yeah, I've definitely noticed some of that stuff.
yep, for sure. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your support and where you get your support from? Do you have family? Do you have friends? Are you part of a support group or anything like that?
So I have two kids, they're 13 and 14, and then my husband, they're my main and kids and my husband, and then my parents, they live in Georgia, and my brother, um, he lives in Georgia as well. And then
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of local friends that are always willing to help out, either like when I've been sick in the past, they'll bring dinner or just little gifts and things like that. I'm not in a kidney support group, but I am in a lung transplant support group, and a lot of them can relate to the kidney issues that like I've had to deal with and been going through.
Uh-huh. Sure. So
Yeah,
you're part of a lung transplant group, but not a kidney.
that's correct.
Okay.
Um, but a lot of the lung transplant people that I know and are friends with, um, they've all had to see a nephrologist or start taking like sodium bicarb or Renvela to help with
Yeah.
kidney issues. So,
Oh yeah. Those are
but yeah,
binders.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really know that many people. I mean, I know some off Facebook, but I've never m-
Yeah.
met anyone in like real life who from
Mm-hmm.
like a kidney group.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, when you're dealing with a chronic illness, you need support for sure, and definitely when
Yeah.
you're dealing with, kidney disease. So, I would encourage you to reach out to some support groups, whether you have a local support group. A lot of times, a church or even hospitals can get you in contact with some support groups.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, of course, I can tell you right now, I'm affiliated personally with a support group with kidneysolutions.org. We meet
Okay.
every Monday and Thursday night. Every
Oh.
Monday, Thursday night at 6 Central. And if you want to join, feel free to reach out to me. I can definitely get you information for that. But support is very crucial when you are battling something like, a chronic illness such as kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
Philip, can you enlighten us on what you do for support?
Um, yeah. The main thing that I think that is important, Jonathan can contest this, is that family is everything. So um, outside of your immediate family, your kids and stuff like that, when he mentions support group, you don't have to necessarily go to a support group. Support
Right.
group definition can be defined in many ways. I also say that you don't have to go to somebody that's already started one. Make your own
Mm-hmm.
support group. And that doesn't mean you have to have a support group where you all meet, every Monday and Tuesday or whatever. But a
Mm-hmm.
support group is just a group of people that help you get from point A to point B in your life and get through your situation. So even if you have to if you're on Facebook and you just find 4 or 5 good people that's willing to help you and push you along, that's your support group. It's all about finding people who care about you and want to see you, get well and be able to provide for your family and be able to keep pushing and keep fighting. So, like I said, I know a billion people like Jonathan that have been in my corner since day one. Me and Jonathan have only been talking for some months now, but it seems like we've been talking for years, And so that's
Yeah,
what
it
you want to
does.
find for your support group, but people like that that's able to, push you along. Hey, how you doing your labs today? Did you go to your appointment? How'd that go? How's your eating? What's your diet look like? What'd you eat yesterday? Stuff like that to be able to keep us in line with the regimens and stuff like that we have to follow on a daily basis. Your kids at home, they need to be coming in and, hey, mom, you take your meds today? Or what time you take your meds? Did you do X, Y, Z? Everybody has to have some kind of role to play because, like me and Jonathan said before, we can't do this on our own. We cannot do
Yeah.
this on our own. We need
Yeah.
somebody there with us, standing next to us and beside us to get us through this journey. This journey is not for somebody that's trying to do something on their own because it's not possible. You
Right.
need
Yeah.
family, you need
Yeah.
support, you need help. So I would say because I know it gets stressful for in-house support. It does because they're the ones that have to be with you, all day, every day, and go through technically everything you have to go through, at least on the emotional side. So
Right.
it's
Right.
good to be able to have those people on the outside that you can call or text and just say, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
dealing with X, Y, Z. Can you talk to me? Can you pray for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? To kind of take some of those times, off, the people that are in your house because I know it can get
Yeah.
overwhelming sometimes. I've been dealing with end-stage renal disease since I was 4. I'm 31. So I know it gets kind of hectic for my support group because they've been dealing with it for 27 years. So, it's
Yeah.
been outside of the people who have passed and gone, it's been mainly the same people outside of people that I've met along the way that are still here, like Jonathan,
Yeah.
And so,
I
um,
think I think for me the main thing is finding someone and people a group of people that can relate to what I'm experiencing and what I'm going through,
Yeah. Yeah.
and share that common experience, and maybe you're experiencing something that they're not experiencing, or maybe maybe you got a word for them to help them, or maybe they got a word to help you, and you'll find out that the community is very welcoming, and this kidney community is very welcoming, and it's a large community, and I'm sure the lung community is as well. I'm friends with quite a few different types of transplant patients. I'm good friends with a liver transplant recipient, Wills Porter, and
Okay.
so I welcome all transplant recipients. I don't just disassociate. I'm just a kidney, transplant. So, I got respect for all of us. And at the end of the day, wherever you can find your support, if it's in a lung community, or if you want to, find a kidney community as well that you can find support in, I think it's definitely beneficial, and it's definitely needed for not only for the mental side, but just to have that common bond with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, so, but where are you currently listed at for transplant?
I'm at Duke University.
Okay, Duke
hmm
University in North Carolina.
Yeah, in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay, and how long have you been listed on transplant?
So inactively, well, total, I've been listed about 9 months. I've been actively listed for about 3 weeks now. Um, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, if you're watching this show and you come across, I got some information scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And if you guys are interested at all to be a test or be a potential donor for Courtney, the information's there. The phone number's there as well. Now, also, we'll have it in the description and in the notes as well for you to refer back to. So definitely, we can definitely get you the right information. And we're gonna take a quick pause to let everybody kind of reset and get a quick drink, and then we'll come back and finish out the show. Okay, guys? Hey guys, welcome back to Hope with Jonathan, and we're here with our special guest, Courtney. We got a co-host, Philip, and hey guys, I want to welcome you back to the show. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would share this with your family and friends, and definitely want to get this out there to everybody. And if you get a chance to go over to our YouTube channel at Hope with Jonathan, and please like, follow, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. But hey, Courtney, I had a couple more questions for you before we go ahead and conclude this show. Again, I want to really thank you for coming on and doing the show tonight. Yeah. You have an amazing, amazing story. So why don't you tell everybody right now, do you have any potential donors at the moment?
Yeah, I actually do. I have one potential donor. They've already done some blood tests and they've come back as a match. They are actually coming up the end of June to be evaluated, and I guess go from there. Yeah.
Okay. So, being that you've already had a lung transplant, do you think that, what do you think is going to happen when you have a kidney transplant? Have you already kind of looked and seen what the research and stuff like that is and what that all entails?
Yeah, so I've had multiple medical experts tell me that if things go as planned, that this should be a piece of cake for me. Not my words, but yeah, that the hospital stay isn't very long. I've seen some incision scars. I know that it gets placed in the front. And usually if you have a living donor that it starts working almost immediately. If you have a deceased donor, then it can take several days or even like a week or two. And you would have to go on dialysis until it starts working.
Yeah. Yep. You got a lot of the details there. Definitely been doing some of your homework there. Especially with the kidney being in the front. Now mine's on the right side of my abdomen. Phil, you had a kidney transplant as well. Where they put yours on the right side as well?
Yeah, it was in the right side, but in the front. My scar is right above the pelvic area on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you still have that kidney that ended up rejecting, Phil, or did they remove it?
No, they removed that one and my original ones
Oh, wow.
not too long after because it was causing my blood pressure to skyrocket.
Mm.
The adrenal glands that are on top of your kidneys were no longer there, and it was causing my blood pressures to be, 170s, 90s, hundreds,
Oh, wow.
in
Yeah.
that area. So they,
Yeah.
I actually got lucky because my hospital is actually in multiple cities. So, like I
Oh,
have
okay.
I go to Kaiser, which is my Kaiser
Mm.
is actually on Sunset in the Hollywood area.
Oh,
And I
okay.
ended up going to a hospital in West LA that's also Kaiser. And at the time, I was starting to see this nephrologist consistently. This is when all the rejection and stuff happened. I was in literally consistently every week. I was going to the
Mm.
emergency room for something, and so I formed a relationship with this nephrologist, and his name was Dr. Parks. And I remember he came to me and said, "Man, your blood pressure is too high. You can't
Mm-hmm.
live like this. You already have other, underlying issues that you're dealing with as well, and so the high blood pressure is not going to help those either." So he said, "I have an idea for you," and he said, "My idea for you would be to remove all your kidneys."
Oh,
He
Mm.
wow.
said they're basically shriveled up, just about gone. He's
Mm.
like, "There's no need for them. There's no function in them." And so he said, "Has your doctor come to you to talk about this?" I said, "No." I said, "He's never brought it up." He said, "All right." He said, "I'll call him and talk to him and see what he says." Very next day, he came back in there to me and said, "Hey, your doctor said okay." He signed off on it, and we went on ahead with everything. They went in laparoscopically and took all of them out. I got like real small scars where they went
Mm-hmm.
in. They went in my back from my original ones and through the front for my transplanted ones. So
Oh,
um,
wow. So you don't have
so
any
yeah, it was.
kidneys?
Nope, nope. I'm on
Oh,
peritoneal
wow.
dialysis at the moment. They removed
Yep.
all of them. It seems like it's been a lot better actually since they've done it.
Really?
I've had
Oh.
some, yeah, I've had some issues here and there just because of the fact that I don't have any, and
Mm-hmm.
even taking blood pressure medicines without taking too much. Even taking too much can be dangerous. So, I've
Yeah.
had my
Oh
issues
yeah.
here and there. Um,
Yep.
Mainly when I'm dealing with something. So if I'm not dealing with anything, my blood pressure is fine, no
Yeah.
problems, everything's good to go. So I
Yep.
just try to keep myself out the woods. Like this weekend, my blood pressure was beyond through the roof, and mainly most of that is because of the pain that I was in at the time. So it
Oh,
wasn't like
yeah.
it was just
Yep.
high just to be high or anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, I wanna give you a huge shout out, man, for what you're doing with advocacy and what you're doing with a second chance. Because Philip is in need of a donor as well, and and he's out here helping other patients in need. And here he is, he's in need as well. So if that doesn't speak volumes of the character that Philip Harris Jones has, I don't know what does. But
Mm.
incredible individual, and I appreciate you doing this show with me tonight, Philip. Always a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
oh, I definitely appreciate you coming to me and asking me to be on. It was a no brainer. Of course, as long as it didn't interrupt the
Yep.
class.
Yep.
I
Oh,
definitely appreciate you bringing me on to hear Courtney's great story.
yep.
I love hearing these stories. This is a big reason why I do it.
Yep.
Is to hear these stories and help all these individuals that we have on this
Yep.
list to get the one thing I think that we're all looking for, at one point, which is a donor. So
Mm.
appreciate you.
Oh, appreciate you too as well. Hey, we want to send a shout out to everybody that's watching tonight. We've got Mr. Kidney. Mr. Kidney's in the house, Sam Jennings. So, guys, if you haven't already went over and subscribed to his channel, Mr. Kidney, he's a really cool guy, advocate friend as well. Kidney transplant recipient, Mr. Sam
Oh,
Jennings.
wow.
Appreciate you watching, brother. And also, I want to send a shout out to my wife, Melissa, for commenting. Thank you, Melissa, for watching. Appreciate your support. All of our sponsors, KWM, KidneyTrails.com, Kidney Warrior merch as well. Appreciate everybody that's been watching tonight and everybody that's been sharing. We definitely appreciate everybody that tunes in for these shows. And man, it's been awesome. But hey guys, I wanted to let you guys know. Oh, Patty Ottawa as well. Thank you, Patty Ottawa. And I believe Patty is in Canada, so all the way from Canada. God bless you, Patty. Thank you very much for watching. And she says she's praying for you to find a kidney. And keep up the great work, team. Hey, Mr. Kidney, appreciate you too, man. You keep up the good work as well, brother. But Courtney, I definitely appreciate you tonight coming on, sharing your personal journey, battling not only having a lung transplant, but now you need a kidney. So it's an incredible story, and you've been and yeah. So one more time, why don't you tell all of our people that's watching again where you're listed at, and give them that information one more time before we close out the show tonight.
Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Um,
do you have?
I missed something of what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just asking if you knew maybe the transplant coordinator or maybe the phone number.
Let's see. I know the number.
I can give you the phone.
Okay. I don't know the person that you would contact because they have to keep all that separate.
I understand.
I just know my coordinator is Shauna MacDonald, but they would have to contact someone else. But if you call that number, they can direct you to the right person.
Exactly. So that phone number, guys, is +1 919 613 7777. And again, guys, I'll have all that information in the description within the video. So if anybody is interested in all to step up and be a potential donor for Courtney, you can definitely reach out either personally to me. You can reach out to her. She's on Facebook as well. Or you can reach out to and give us a call or give their transplant hospital at Duke University Hospital there a phone call. And like I said, it'll all be in the description and on the YouTube video. And anybody that you want to send a shout out to or thank for being there for you or anything like that before we close out the show tonight?
I guess my kids and my husband and my potential donor.
Yeah. Okay.
Jonathan, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Mind if I have one question for Courtney?
Sure.
This is something that I like to ask because I think it's important. I think it adds a step to people finding a reason to donate to somebody. Mm-hmm. And that is, what would a living donor do for you?
Give me my health back and help keep my lungs healthy because it'll help keep my whole body healthy and just give me my life back. I'm having a hard time walking now because of like the fluid, and my legs hurt a lot of the time. I'm taking a bunch of like Lasix every day and it's still not completely doing anything. Hopefully like eat some like decent food instead of having to watch every single thing. And just, I love life. I think it's like absolutely amazing. And when I got my lung transplant, like I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. And I thank my donor every day. So this would just keep giving me more, I don't know, appreciation for life and for God and letting me be here for my kids and my husband. Yeah.
All right. No, that's beautiful, Courtney. I think you answered that question very well. And thanks, Philip. I usually ask that question. You know what? It slipped my mind tonight. So thank you very much for coming on, man, and helping me out with that one, because that one slipped my mind for whatever reason. So I definitely appreciate it, my friend.
Oh, that's no problem at all. I think that's a very important question, because
Sure.
for people to hear that, you have those days where you're having leg issues and things like that, but you have a family to take care of,
Yeah,
and they
yeah. And
need their mom at the end of the
yeah,
day.
Yep.
So that I think that's something very important for people to hear, is that these illnesses are keeping people away from their families, their kids, their godchildren, the nieces and nephews.
yeah,
And so that's information I think people need to hear to make them want uh, to be a living donor to other people outside of just being a good person. So thank you for
Yep.
answering that question. I appreciate
yeah.
you.
I mean, I sometimes I sleep like 12 hours and I'm still exhausted.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that kidney disease causes chronic
I'm like
fatigue.
severely anemic and got worse. Yeah, yeah. I'm exhausted like all the time.
Yep.
And I
It's
had to
got.
cut out drinking milk, and that's like my favorite drink. I know that's weird,
Oh, I
but
already
I
know.
had to
Yeah.
quit drinking milk.
Yeah. Yeah, when they told me that in the hospital, like they told me you can't eat cheese anymore, and I was like, just take me out back and like shoot me. Like just shoot me. Cause like I was like such a cheese holic, man. And
Yeah.
but it becomes a mindset though. Like I realized I was like, look, if I want to live, I gotta do some things. I gotta make some
Mhm.
changes. And so I
Yep.
was like, look, I've got to get a hold of this renal diet and follow it like I've never done it before. And I
Yeah.
jumped into I cold turkey. I gave up stuff,
Yeah.
and it wasn't easy, but it just became, and the more I did it and the more repetition of the meals and stuff that I planned, it became a habit. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, I'm still, as a transplant patient, I'm still following a lot of the different foods and stuff that I was eating on the renal diet. I mean, even
Mm.
though, every once in a while I will treat myself to something, but for me, it's more about now for accountability. Like we
Yeah.
have to be
Mhm.
accountable at the end of the day of, the types of food that we're eating. So,
Yeah. And
if I,
trying
if I,
preserving everything.
yeah, for sure. But again, I want to send a shout out to everybody that's been watching the show. Again, saying hello. We got a new person watching tonight, Midwest Kidney Warriors. Hey, I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm not sure. I think it's Shane Blanchard, but God bless you guys for watching. And again, Mr. Kidney, uh, he's chiming in saying he gave up milk. He's drinking almond milk. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah,
a
almond milk is not my thing. I
Yeah.
can't
It's
do
yeah,
it.
so
I'd rather
sad.
just stop drinking milk. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It wasn't easy to give up milk for a while, but I
Oh,
did,
definitely,
and
definitely.
but okay. Well, appreciate you, Shane Blanchard, for watching Midwest Kidney Warriors. Appreciate you, brother. Yep, and he gave up meat as well, Mister
Oh wow.
Kidney. Yeah. So
Better him than me.
yeah, I'm not eating near as much as red meat as I was eating. No, I used to
Right.
be just solid red
Oh
meat, and
wow.
I'm eating a lot of pork. I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of grilled chicken, more grilled chicken than anything.
Hmm.
But it's in I try to eat in a certain amount of ounces, but I mean, you're looking at a guy who was surviving on cheeseburgers and pizzas at one time. So,
Oh wow.
I totally changed my life. Renal failure completely changed my life. So,
Hmm.
and a lot of it was for the good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but man, let's see, we got some other comments here. He also says that got his blood work 2 days ago. My kidney function is the same as someone with 2 normal kidneys. That's
Oh,
awesome, Mr.
wow.
Kidney.
Man,
Nice.
wow.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And I was bad and had a rib for dinner. Yep. Yep. I hear that. I used to tell them Midwest Kidney Warriors to brown it on one side and flip it and give it to me. And
Oh
that's
my
literally how I
God.
would eat it. Literally.
Like blue?
But yeah. Oh, bloody. I liked it bloody.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh, beans. Beans is a good source of protein as well. A little high
Yep.
in potassium for the
Yeah.
kidney patients, but beans is another good form of protein. Eggs. I ate a ton of eggs when I was on dialysis. Of course, the
Oh
egg
wow.
yolk. They say to try to get the egg yolk out of there if you can, but I was like, look, if I got to survive on eggs, I'm going to go ahead and eat the egg yolk.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't have all these restrictions in my life. You gotta have something I like in there.
Yeah. The Texas boys know how to eat a steak. Yeah, you're daggone right on that one, brother. We know our barbecue. We know our steak down here. But
Oh, most definitely. Definitely. I have family in Texas, so I already know.
Yeah, my
That's all my
husband's from
family
there.
does is barbecue.
but hey, guys, this has been really fun. It's been a great interview, very informative. Definitely appreciate all the support as the comments are just pouring in. Appreciate y'all's support for
Yeah.
watching. And God bless you guys out there. Again, want to thank our very special guest, Courtney Hertel, for coming on. And man, our special co-host, Philip Harris Jones Jr. Always a pleasure, my friend. And
Appreciate you.
we're gonna go ahead and close out the show tonight. But remember, guys out there, to stay safe out there. Love on someone. It's free. You can love for free, guys. It doesn't cost a thing. And remember to take care of your kidneys. God bless you guys.
God bless you. Have a great one.
All right. Let me see if I can end this broadcast.